Hi friends, welcome to Technical Studies. So today we are going to start our first video based on class 10th Social Science chapter number 1 Advent of Europeans to India. Introduction. Advent of Europeans to India is about how Europeans entered India for trading purpose and faced the competition. Since ancient time, there were trade and commerce relationship between India and Europe. There was a great demand for Indian spices like pepper, cardamom, ginger, and many other spices in Europe. The Arab merchants carried Asian merchandise into Constantinople of Eastern Roman Empire. Italian merchants would buy these goods and then sell in European countries. Like this, Constantinople was the center of international business and considered as gateway of European trade. While Arab merchants had gained monopoly over the trade in Asian countries, Italian traders had gained monopoly over trade in Europe. The merchandise from Asia brought good profit to Italian merchants. Here, monopoly is the market where there is a less or no competition because of more buyers and a single seller. The fall of Constantinople. The trade and commerce between Asia and Europe was taking place through the city of Constantinople. In 1453, the Ottoman Turks captured the city of Constantinople. Constantinople came under the control of Turks. The Turks started levying too many taxes on the goods passing through these routes. As a result, the trade became unprofitable. Meanwhile, Spain and Portugal were attempting to break the monopoly of Italian traders. They started encouraging enterprising sailors to find a new sea route to India. The invention of compass, astrolabes, and gunpowder provided further impetus to this venture. A new sea route to India. Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese sailor, left Lisbon and reached Capado near Calicut on the west coast of India in 1498. Like this, he was successful in discovering a new sea route to India. This route continued to be the route of trade between India and Europe for many years. Like this, Portuguese were the first to re-establish the trade between India and Europe. European trade communities. With success of the Portuguese, the Dutch, French and the English arrived in India for trade. This development not only changed the history of India, it also changed the history of European countries. The Portuguese. The Portuguese were the first to arrive at India for trade and were last to leave India by the sea route. After Vasco da Gama, Francisco de Almeida arrived in India as the viceroy of Portuguese. He implemented blue water policy in order to establish the supremacy over the sea instead of supremacy over land. Alfonso de Albuquerque, who came after the Almeida, is considered as the real founder of Portuguese Empire in India. He waged a battle against the Sultan of Bijapur in 1510 and won Goa. Goa became the administrative center of the Portuguese administration in India. The Portuguese had absolute monopoly over the trade with India for almost a century, but their power declined with the arrival of English and French in India. The Dutch. Dutch are from Holland or Netherlands. They established United East India Company in 1602 with the aim of doing business with eastern countries and came to countries like India, Java, Sumatra, Indonesia. They established warehouses in Surat, Broch, Cambay, Cochin, Nagapattinam, Masulipatinam, and Chinsura, and other places in India. With this, they broke the monopoly of Portuguese in India, later unable to face the competitions from the English and the French. The Dutch limited themselves to the spice inland in Indonesia. The British. On 31st December 16,000, the Queen Elizabeth issued a royal charter authorizing the East India Company to trade with eastern countries for 15 years. The company started the business from Mali in 1613. The Mughal Empire Jahangir issued a royal permission to English to establish their first warehouse or factory at Surat. In 1617, Sir Thomas Rio arrived at the court of Jahangir as a royal ambassador from the court of James I. He sought permission from Jahangir to establish factories in other places of Mughal Empire. English established factories at Agra, Ahmedabad, and Bharuch. In 1639, English took Madras from the king of Chandragiri to establish a strong fort named St. George Fort. Later, Charles II, the Prince of England, gave Bombay on an annual rent of £10 to East India Company in 1668. In 1690, the English purchased their villages, namely Sutunavanti, Kalikata, and Govindpura, on the banks of Hooghly River, and built Fort William. The city of Calcutta grew around this fort. By the 17th century, the English had established Bombay, Madras, Calcutta as the centers of their prevalences. By the later part of 18th century, the English made Calcutta their capital city. They implemented their own civil criminal procedures courts in the areas that were under their controls. The French. The French East India Company started as a government owned company in 1664. It started its first factory at Surat in 1668. Later, they established its factories in Machilipatnam, Chandernagore, Mahe, Karaika, Kasim Bazar, Balsoor. In 1674, the French took Valikandapuram from a local Muslim official and developed it as major trade center. Later, it came to be known as Pondicherry or Pondicherry. Duplessis, who arrived in 1746 in Pondicherry as the Governor General of the French, had the high ambitions of establishing the French as a major power in South India. This ambition led to the Carnatic Wars with the English. The competitions between English and French. The Portuguese and the Dutch had withdrawn from India unable to withstand the competitions from French and English by 18th century. Finally, French and English restored to show of strength in order to establish their political supremacy over India. Meanwhile, political instability ensued in the regions of Hyderabad and Karnataka, eastern part of Tamil Nadu, and both the English and French tried to exploit the situation in their favor. This led to the three Carnatic Wars. First Carnatic War 1746 to 1748. On the request of Dupleix, La Bourdonnais, a French military leader from Mauritius, invaded Madras and captured it. This forced the helpless British to request the help of Anwaruddin, the Nawab of Carnatic. The army sent by Anwaruddin failed to defeat the French and Madras. Finally, La Bourdonnais took money from the English and returned Madras and went back to Mauritius. This made angry to Dupleix and attempted to take Madras but failed. Finally, the war ended with the treaty in Europe between French and England called Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Second Carnatic War from 1749 to 1754. In the changed circumstances, French made Salabat Jung, another son of Asaf Jahan, as the Nizam of Hyderabad. An officer named Bizi was established in Hyderabad for his protection by the French. In the Carnatic, Chand Sahib had become the Nawab with the help of French. Robert Clive of East India Company attacked Erkot, the capital city of Carnatic, and defeated Chand Sahib. Chand Sahib was imprisoned and later killed in the war. In the place of Chand Sahib, the English named Muhammad Ali, the son of Anwaruddin, as the Nawab of Carnatic. The Second Carnatic War ended with the Treaty of Pondicherry. The French recalled Dupleix. This war brought laurels to English while French suffered a political setback. Third Carnatic War 1756 to 1763. Count de Lally of the French attempted to besiege Vandivash in 1760. In this decisive battle, Sir Eyrecourt of the English army defeated the French and imprisoned Pissy. Lally escaped and hid in Pondicherry. Finally, Eyrecourt attacked Pondicherry and Lally had to surrender unconditionally in 1761. After Carnatic Wars, the French had to lose all their bases in India due to Carnatic War. In spite this, as per the Treaty of Paris signed in 1763, Pondicherry was returned to French. With these developments, the French lost their importance in India. In this way, the English, by defeating all their rivals, started consolidating their powers in South India. The British rule in India. After gaining the political controls over South India, the British tried to gain control over the rich Bengal province in the later part of 18th century. The Bengal province had achieved tremendous growth in the areas of agriculture, commerce, and industry. The East India Company was making considerable profit from this province. The Dastaks, license issued by the Mughal ruler Farrukhsiyar, were the main reasons for this. But these dastaks that were limited to the company transactions were misused by the individual officers of the company too. This resulted in the huge loss to the Bengal government. Hence, all Nawab from Murshid Ali Khan to Ali Wardi Khan opposed such measure. This led to the confrontation between the Nawabs and the company. This resulted in two clinical wars which charted a division course to Indian history. Plassey and Buxar were those two wars. Battle of Plassey took place in 1757. Alivardi Khan, the Nawab of Bengal, died in 1756. His grandson Siraj ud Dawla came to the throne. The Battle of Plassey took place between the young Nawab Siraj ud Dawla and the British in 1757. Reasons: misuse of dastaks. Siraj ud Dawla was furious that the dastaks were misused by the officials of the company, causing losses to the government treasury. Mending of the fort without permission. The British repaired the fort of Calcutta and placed cannons in them. This further angered Siraj ud Dawla and he ordered the removal of the cannons from the fort. The British refused to do so, angering the Nawab further. Black Room Tragedy. Siraj ud Dawla conquered Fort Williams easily and imprisoned some of Britishers. He imprisoned 146 Englishers in a small room in the fort, of which 123 were died. This is called as the Black Hole Tragedy. This angered Robert Clive and arrived in Bengal with a huge army. Robert Clive attracted rich locals like Manik Chand, Omi Chand, Jagat Seth, and others towards him. He was successful in convincing Mir Jafar, the military head of Siraj ud Dawla, to stay neutral in the battle by offering him the post of Nawab of Bengal. Encouraged by these developments, Robert Clive declared war against Siraj ud Dawla in 1757. Everything went according to the plan of Clive. Siraj ud Dawla, who tried to escape from the battle, was captured and killed. Outcomes of the Battle of Plassey. This war brought out the immorality, lacks of unity among the Indians, and the greed of Indian businessmen. Mir Jafar became the Nawab of Bengal. The company gained exclusive rights to trade in Bengal. Mir Jafar had to pay rupees 17 crores and 70 lakhs to Siraj ud Dawla as war indemnity for the attack of Fort William. In a nutshell, Mir Jafar became a victim of the company and its employees. Even thought the treasury went bankrupt due to the greedy nature. The greediness of the company and its officials was never satisfied. The British projected Mir Jafar as an insufficient Nawab and brought in his nephew Mir Qasim as the new Nawab. Battle of Buxar, which took place in 1764. Qasim was an efficient administrator. In the beginning, he remained loyal to the company. He paid 2 lakh pounds to the company and gave away a few places to it. Shortly afterwards, he declared himself an independent king. After verifying the misuse of dastaks, he declared all business was duty-free in Bengal. Indians competed against the British in all spheres of business. As a result, the British trade suffered unconsiderable. This was enough for the British to oppose the Nawab. They brought in Mir Jafar again and dethroned Mir Qasim. As Mir Qasim knew the cunningness of the British, he went for an organized war against them. He was supported by Indian merchants and artisans. Mir Qasim entered into agreements with the Mughal ruler Shah Alam II and the Nawab of Awadha, Suja ud Dawla. The combined forces of Mir Qasim faced the British army led by Hector Murrough at Buxar in 1764. Mir Qasim was defeated and ran away from the battlefield. Shah Alam II surrendered. The efforts of the combined force to stop the British failed miserably. Outcomes of the Battle of Buxar. Shah Alam II accorded the Diwani rights over Bengal to the British. Shah Alam II gave away all the rights over Bengal to the British for an annual fee of rupees 26 lakhs. The Nawab of Awadh had to pay a fine rupees 50 lakhs for waging a war against the company. With the death of Mir Jafar, the company paid pension to his son and took over the entire administration of Bengal. The Battle of Buxar made the British the real holders of power over Bihar, Bengal, and Odisha provinces. Even Oudh remained under their control. In 1765, Robert Clive brought in the Daul government. As per this, the British had the right to collect land taxes, whereas the Nawab had power over administrative issues like justice and others. This way, the British gained political control over India to protect their business interests. So, from this, friends, our chapter gets over, and for again chapters or again lessons for further, you can subscribe my channel and like this video. Thanks for watching.